This is Change Your Mindset Podcast, the podcast that helps change your life by helping change the mindset of the 99% into the 1% mindset. Here's your host, Adrian Gomez.
Welcome to Change Your Mindset Podcast, where we change the 99% mindset into that 1% mindset. I'm your host, Adrew Gomez. So on this episode, we're going to be talking about the United States of America, home of the free, land of the brave, the land of opportunity. So I want to start off by saying I love this country. I was fortunate to be born into this country. I will say that I did take this country for granted until later on in life. I did realize how lucky and fortunate I am to be here, and how other people would love to be here, dream to be here, sacrifice everything, willing to die just to come to this country. And unfortunately, I did take it for granted. And I think a lot of people born here do take it for granted, and we do not see the hardships that our family has gone through just to come to this country and to give us this life. Just referencing to myself, I do have parents that are immigrants. My father and his mother and father and siblings did come from this country from Mexico City. Obviously, they came from their home over there. They took the biggest risk they can and came to this country and to work. And obviously, when they did, they didn't speak any English. And they started businesses here because they were entrepreneurs. No matter where they came from, no matter what color they were, no matter what language they spoke, this country gave them that opportunity. That's why it is the land of opportunity, because wherever you come from, whatever you look like, whatever language you speak, it doesn't matter. We all have that same opportunity. So we should be very fortunate that we have this opportunity compared to other places in the world where they do not have this opportunity. And for most of us, take it for granted, which I did myself. Till later on in life, I realized what my parents and family had to go through just to get me to this country, and how fortunate I am to be born into this country and have the opportunities to do what I want and the freedom to do what I want, and how I don't want to waste this opportunity, because other people in this world would literally die for this opportunity, and that's why they try to come here. So many people try to come to this country for this specific opportunity, and most of us take it for granted that are born here. And for some of us are even born here, we don't even take advantage of the opportunity. Like I said, we're born into this country. We go into the school systems. The school systems teaches us, obviously, go to school, get a good degree, graduate, find a good paying job, pay taxes, you work your whole life, and then you pretty much retire, and then you die. It's sad that we are not taught this, obviously, opportunity we have anymore, and that's taken away from us. And it's unfortunate because we are born into this country and we have the opportunity. We're born into it. And it's sad that a lot of people don't take advantage of it, because you can be anything you want. Obviously, it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of discipline, and a lot of people let that go to waste, unfortunately. Of course, this country isn't perfect. Obviously, nothing's perfect in life. Obviously, when this country was founded, it was founded on good constitutional amendments, obviously, to protect the people and its freedom, obviously, from tyranny and everything else, which is one of the very few countries that have that. And I'm very fortunate that this country gave my family a good life for them. Obviously, they have their own property now, and they work hard for it. They worked every day of their lives, and they work very hard. And obviously, when you work in this country and you live in this country and you work hard, you will be rewarded for it. So I'm thankful and lucky that this country gave my parents and family this opportunity, and they obviously executed on it, and they were rewarded because they worked hard. And if you live in the United States of America, if you work hard, you will be rewarded. Like I said, you could be anything you want in this country. It's up to you. If you want to put in the work, you can be whatever you want. Just don't let it go to waste, because obviously if you have a job and work the rest of your life, that opportunity is gone and you wasted it. And like I said, we're obviously not taught this opportunity. We're not taught a lot of stuff, unfortunately, when you're born into the United States, but you have the opportunity. So you only have one life. Don't waste it. You live in the greatest country in the world. So go out and get it. This country was founded on capitalism and free markets. Like I said, you can be whatever you want. That's what the greatest thing of this country is. If you want to be whatever you want to make as much as you want, you have that opportunity. You can make however much you want. It's totally up to you. I've noticed a lot that majority of the immigrants that come to this country are entrepreneurs. Majority of them come to this country, obviously they want to have a business because where they come from, they can't do that. Like I said, this is a land of opportunity. So majority I see of immigrants are entrepreneurs. The people that are born into this country aren't really entrepreneurs. They're, like I said, they go to school systems and they end up having jobs. So it's pretty interesting how that works. And thus it also tell you something and hopefully change your mindset as well, because people are coming here and becoming entrepreneurs, starting businesses. And if you're born into this country and you're doing the opposite, that speaks a lot. Just don't waste this opportunity. Like I said, we're super fortunate. Like, I took this country for granted, unfortunately. But now I realize that I have this opportunity, and like I said, I went forth, I quit my job, became an entrepreneur, and I'm taking full advantage of this opportunity I have because I'm very fortunate and lucky compared to a lot of people that would love to be in my situation. Because we're very fortunate even as a country. The food we have, the water, we have housing. A lot of people in the world don't even have that. Some people live in straw houses, wood houses. People have to walk miles just for water. For food, they have to go hunt it. They're not as fortunate as we are, and we take a lot of this for granted, unfortunately, and I did myself. But we're very fortunate compared to other places in the world. So I'm very lucky and fortunate and thankful to be born into this country, and I'm thankful for my family to make the sacrifice, and they made that very hardships to come to this country. And obviously they came on a work permit and they came here legally and they put in the work, and I'm very fortunate that they did that for me, for I can have this opportunity. Like I said, I don't plan on wasting it. The thing that scares me the most is what this country was founded on, that we are losing that. Obviously, we have a lot of constitutional amendments that protect us, and nowadays those amendments are trying to be taken away. Obviously, the First Amendment is freedom of speech. Obviously, this country is great because you can say whatever you want, and you shouldn't be in trouble for it, because in some countries like China, you can't say whatever you want, or even North Korea, you can't speak out to the government. You're not allowed to, and if you do, obviously things happen to you, and it's unfortunate, but this country gave us that amendment to protect the citizens of this country, and nowadays that amendment obviously is being attacked. We live in a world of social media where people can say what they want. For instance, obviously we have Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. You have the opportunity, and you used to be protected by the First Amendment, to say whatever you want, whether if you agree with somebody or you don't. For example, I'm making this podcast. You might agree with me or you might don't. Like I said, it's up to you if you do or not. It's totally fine, but we have that First Amendment right to protect us from that. But the scary thing is, like I said, our amendments are starting to be attacked. The first one is freedom of speech, because, for example, like I said, I might not agree with everybody, but you're entitled to say what you want. You have that freedom of speech, and you're protected by it in this country. Nowadays, these social media companies are censoring people, and now you're canceling people. For example, obviously, whether you agree with these people or not doesn't matter. But like I said, what this country was founded on, Donald Trump was obviously taken off social media. Adrew Tate, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know of him. He's been taken off social media, canceled, censored, and so many other people that you don't even hear about. And it's scary because that was one of the amendments to protect us, and obviously it's being attacked. And it's unfortunate because this country was founded on principles to protect us, and they're slowly trying to be taken away from us. And that scares me a lot, because what's going to protect us if these start getting attacked or they start trying to be removed. You have nothing to protect us anymore, and then we could end up like China, a communist country. The government takes over, or even North Korea, where the government does whatever it wants and you can't do anything about it. That's scary. That's communism, and some people are okay with that, which is unfortunate, but this is the United States of America. That amendment's to protect us, whether, like I said, you agree with someone or not. I respect everyone's freedom to say whatever they want, whether I like it or not. They have that freedom to do that, and that's their rights. And that's the amendment we're given to protect us, and hopefully we fight to keep that amendment. So if we go to the amendment right after is the Second Amendment. Obviously the right to bear arms. That was one of the amendments for us to protect us by carrying firearms. Obviously to protect us from the government, from tyranny, because that's what this country was founded on. Obviously if we didn't have weapons back then, we would not be able to fight off Britain. That was very crucial to start our independence from Great Britain back then. Because, like I said, no weapons, we couldn't fight against them. And how would we win a war without any weapons? So obviously that amendment was given to us just in case if a scenario happens where tyranny happens again or the government tries to control us. We could obviously fight back if worse comes to worse. That's like they did back then. And obviously some people agree with this amendment, some people don't. Obviously nowadays we're shown videos and newspapers of school shootings, and not even just school shootings, people getting killed. Another example of this was in the 2017 Las Vegas shooting. We're shown a lot of negativity, obviously, with these shootings. Obviously, they're very awful, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people lost their lives, and it's obviously sad to see and hear about. And obviously, after this happened, there's more strict gun laws to be taken into consideration now. I'm all for people trying to get a gun. At the end of the day, if there's more laws in place for, obviously you have to be the background checks, I'm all for that. Obviously you have to be mentally sane, not insane. Obviously I'm all for that. All the precautions, getting a firearm, I'm all for that. But at the end of the day, if someone's going to get a gun, they're going to find a way to get a gun, whether it's legally or illegally. If they want a gun, they'll find a way to get one. And like I said, nowadays, they're trying to take away rights little by little. Obviously, the gun amendment is supposed to protect us from tyranny and obviously the government. And obviously that amendment's being attacked and they're trying to take that one away as well. So if that's taken away, if worse comes to worse, who knows if it ever does happen, the government tries to take over. Something crazy like that. Back then, just like I said, when we tried to fight Great Britain, we had weapons. If nowadays we don't have weapons, how would we fight back? Obviously, that's a far-stretched scenario, but anything's possible nowadays. So let's get into some of the numbers. We'll just talk about the states with the least amount of gun owners. So obviously, the first one is New Jersey with 14.7%. Number 2, Massachusetts, 14.7%. Rhode Island, 14.8%. Hawaii, number 4, 14.9%. New York, 19.90%. And then number 6, Connecticut, 23.6%. Number 7, Illinois, 27.8%. California, number 8, 28.3%. Number 9, Maryland, 30.2%. Delaware, number 10, 34.4%. And Florida, number 11, 35.3%. So those are the states with the least amount of gun owners. And now let's go on the opposite, the states with the most gun owners. Number 1, Montana, 66.3%. Number 2, Wyoming, 66.2%. Number 3, Alaska, 64.5%. Number 4, Idaho, 60.1%. Number 5, West Virginia, 58.5%. So those states with the most and least. So whatever you decide, you can go either of those states, or if you live in one of those states, now you know the amount of gun owners on average. So according to Crime Prevention Research Center, from 1950 through June 2019, gun-free zones, 94%, have been the target for mass shootings. So those 94% gun-free zones have been targeted for mass shootings. And only 6% that have guns have been targeted for mass shootings. So that's to tell you something, that these mass shooters are targeting obviously places that they know that these people do not carry guns. Because obviously, if you're going to a place that don't carry guns, you have a better chance of obviously not getting shot at. Compared to a place that does have guns, you're not going to go and do a mass shooting because you know people are carrying. So logically, that makes sense. So when we hear mass shootings, obviously on the news, which sounds like a lot, it sounds like a good amount of people, right? So obviously, mass shootings are 3 or 4 victims of gun violence, not including the shooter, in a short period of time. So that is the definition of a mass shooting. So when you hear mass shooting on the news, it could be 3 or 4 victims. So when you think of mass shooting, you think of tons of people, right? Obviously, that's not the actual definition of mass shooting. Obviously, we're not told that because they obviously want to keep us feared and paranoid. And this also includes a mass shooting that nobody died as well. So when we go into the definition of mass murder, that is when 4 or more people have died. So that's the difference between those two. So the number of mass shootings have been 293. And for the number of mass murders have been a number of 14. And that's of June 28, 2020. Obviously, 14 of a mass murder is very tragic. But obviously, we're told more of mass shootings and mass murders. Obviously, mass shootings, that's a larger number. That's a big number. And you hear that, wow, that's a lot of people. And you think, oh, that's a lot of deaths. We hear mass murder, obviously, it is unfortunate, but obviously it's a lower number, which is also a good thing compared to mass shooting. But obviously, we're not taught that, as always, in these social media or even the news. So those are just some statistics that you can think about. Like I said, it's scary if these amendments do get attacked and obviously are trying to take away from the American people, because this is what made this country so great, and it's unfortunate that all these are being attacked. So obviously recently the Inflation Reduction Act bill obviously came into effect. By the title, obviously you're supposed to think it's supposed to help with inflation, right? It's supposed to reduce inflation. If you were to read into the bill gives the IRS $80 billion, and they're going to hire 87,000 new IRS agents. They'll be coming to audit ordinary taxpayers. Obviously, we're told that it's going to be to tax the rich and audit the rich. Obviously, that's not going to happen because the rich use loopholes in the tax systems, which are legal to not pay taxes. And they have accountants, CPAs, lawyers, so they'll be fine. So it's not going to be for them. It's going to be for the average middle-class person that pays taxes. So now they're coming, or even small businesses. So now they're coming for those type of people and making sure they're trying to get all the taxes you owe to them or that you've owed to them. So now they're going to be auditing all those people. It's crazy what this country is coming to and how it's falling apart, and all this, the American people are being attacked. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, this is what made this country great, and it gave us the freedom to do what we want and to be whoever we want. This country is divided. Obviously, whether it's financially, politics, whatever it may be, this country has been divided. And it's sad to see. Obviously, the news plays a part in that. This shows you one aspect, not the other side, or even racism nowadays, and the crime rate skyrocketing. It's crazy how this country is getting divided. You know, obviously, Abraham Lincoln said it best himself back then. He said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." Obviously, if this country gets divided, we won't be a country for much longer. This country is called the United States of America, not the separate states of America. And like I said, this country is so divided, all these things going on nowadays. It's sad how far we've fallen. Like I said at the beginning, I love this country and what it stands for. You know, it gave my family the opportunity and obviously protected them and gave them what they're rewarded for all the hard work they put into it. And that's so many other people and so many other families and all the people that are going to come here in the future. It gives them the opportunity. And obviously, if all this is taken away from us, all the opportunity is gone. And obviously, all this mindset we talk about, that'll be useless as well now. if we don't become full country once again, obviously, maybe socialism and communism comes into this country is obviously going to be destroyed, and we will no longer have a democracy. So I do hope people change their mindsets and see how fortunate we are to be here, and all these negative things are coming upon us, and obviously not just listen to the news or social media, because majority of the time you're just going to hear one side. You're never going to hear both sides. Like I said in another episode, there's on a quarter, I got this from Robert Kiyosaki. He said, on a quarter, there are three sides: the front and the back and the middle. So to see both sides, you have to be in the middle, on the edge. And that makes a lot of sense to me. And I always live my life like that recently. I have to see both sides, and then I come to my conclusion. So all I ask is just see both sides. Just please do your research and educate yourself, as always. Because if you hear one side and listen to that one side, it might be right or wrong, no matter what. So I just hope you educate yourselves and always see both sides of pretty much anything, not just anything we talk about, like anything in life. Just always see both sides of it and come to your conclusion. And see the facts and get all the facts together, and then put it together and get your conclusion out of that. I think that's the best way to see it. But nowadays, unfortunately, people just see one side and they just stick with that one side. They don't ever see the other side, or they choose not to. And if you try to at least have them listen to one side or the other side, they obviously don't want to, because nowadays people think their side's right and the other side's wrong. And it's unfortunate that we can't see both sides anymore. I just hope you guys can. Like I said, I love this country, and I hope we can keep it together, what it's founded on, and keep us free. Because like I said, we have so much opportunity and so many rights compared to other people in the world. That's why people want to come here, for all this opportunity, become citizens. And, like I said before, it's unfortunate that I took it for granted. But now I do not take it for granted with this opportunity I have. Obviously, I'm doing this podcast, having my business, trying to help others. I'm trying to live it to my full potential. And I think I owe my family that, because they sacrificed a lot to get me here. And I think I at least owe them that. So thank you guys for listening to this podcast. As always, always appreciate it. Taking your time to listen to it. Hope you guys share it and help others in need. Thank you guys again. And I hope you listen to next week's episode. Take care, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Change Your Mindset podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode. As always, change your mindset to change your life.